in a bit, we're going to be sitting down with Mutua Matheka, the man who changed how we see Nairobi and how we see ourselves, okay? From architecture to photography, from skylines to identity, this is a story about art, activism, and the power of perspective. So don't miss out on that conversation in just a bit. Right now, Functified, The Brat, and JD. Guys, I'm so fired up because right now it's all things Culture Kitchen. The one and only Mutua Matheka is in the building. He's a creative. He does everything. Today we're talking through Kenyan eyes, telling our stories in pictures. So yeah, phone lines are also going to be open on 0719012600, and also to partner on that hashtag after hours on Spice. Do remember, you can stream live www.spicefm.co.ke, and if you're headed to Nakuru, it's 96.0, Kisumu City 102.5, and Malindi, it's 97.7. Truthslinger at Truthslinger, you get what's up, man?
What's good?
I'm all right, man. Yeah. How was your day?
It's been a long day, but good day.
Actually, I should say, how was your weekend?
Yeah, because
mambo
stays mengi.
For
That's
real,
what is happening. But I cannot complain. It's been a good time.
Yeah. It's good to see you, man.
Yeah.
I was so excited about this conversation. I kept telling my partner, I'm like, yo, I was like, this guy has to make it on Monday because you do a really good job, bro.
Yeah, thank you.
Your work is amazing. Your craft is impeccable.
I appreciate it.
Let me ask you, what inspires you to do what you do? Of course, being a creative and an artist.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, bottom line, the answers have changed over the time. But
I can imagine.
I would say at the end of the day, if I don't do what I do, there's so much that I wouldn't know what to do with that's inside me.
Right.
So this is, it's like a creative release.
Yeah.
I think I also speak for many artists when we say there's things that are always going on in our heads that we're like, we just have to get things out, just to try, just to see what they look like. It helps when people like them, but even if people don't, you just know there's something that you need to put out there.
Yeah.
There's just this itch to create things, to put them out, to show them to the world.
Yeah.
And it's always in the hope that there's also someone else who sees things like you do. And it always helps when other people see the world like you do and they relate to something that you make. It makes everything feel so much better. So I think as an artist, you're always looking to share your ideas, but at the same time, you're always looking to find community in people that see the world like you are, or show the people how you see the world.
I like that. And you've got such a massive community of fans, followers, believers.
Yeah.
You mentioned at some point, it's almost as if you don't really care what people say. But do you care about reviews, though? About when they talk about your art?
Yeah. Here's the thing. The weird thing is that, of course, it would be very disingenuous for me to say that I don't care what people think. But at the same time, it's a fine line between appreciating the opinion of people without letting it dictate the direction of what you do. That line is so fine. So many times as an artist, sometimes you either protect yourself by saying, I don't care. But also now here's the problem.
Yeah.
If you say you don't care, you can't just not care about the negative comments, but care about the positive ones. Because then you still care.
It's true.
So the way I see it is if you don't care, you must not care about anything. Don't care about the positive.
And
don't look at the negative.
I like that, yeah.
That way, the sway of the people is not on the work that you do.
Yeah.
But that's also very difficult. I think it's a whole process thing where if you learn to love the process, then the outcome and what people think or feel about the outcome will always be secondary because you just love what you do.
Yeah.
And you love the process of doing what you do.
So I also found out that you studied architecture.
Yes.
So how did you transition to photography and being a creative?
I don't feel... Many times so here's the weird thing. Many times when people discover this, they find it to be such a far transition. But me, I find that it's so natural. First, because I think architecture is one of the best bases for any creative practice. Like, because in architecture, in School of Architecture, we learn a lot of projects planning. You learn how to look at your work from a future perspective. Because before a building ever hits groundbreaking, you've designed the building for a certain location. You've already thought about 10 years from now, Like if it's good design, you've thought about 50 years from now, what would be the impact of this building on this place?
Yeah.
And so we are used to thinking about our work from the future.
Okay.
So for me, I always feel like in my work, I'm always used to looking at things from a future perspective. I think it's very easy to flow from architecture to almost any creative practice. And for me, I picked up a camera and I found myself really drawn to that creative process of photography.
Right.
And when I looked back, actually, I found that architecture drew me for the same reason. It didn't draw me because it was just building buildings and stuff like that.
Yeah.
What I loved about architecture was the process of creating things. It's like you come from nothing,
It's true.
design a house, you see ground broken, and then you see a building up. Can you imagine like the amazingness of that process?
I know.
Something that was once on paper, now people are living inside it, people are working
So
inside
technically,
it.
most architects are just creatives. Let's just call them artists.
They're creatives for sure.
Isn't it? Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, I can imagine. So when did you pick up that the camera, I guess?
I picked it up when I was in fifth year. No, when I was in just after graduating. So after my 6th year of architecture. But I picked up a smaller camera in my 5th year because I had started looking at photography while I was in 5th year of university. And the reason I looked at photography is because I was interested in graphic design. And so a friend of mine who was another graphic designer was like, you need to look at this Kenyan photographer. That's Jim Chuchu. It was the only Kenyan photographer I knew at that time. I looked at his website. I was like, this is exactly the kind of amazing work that I want to do sometime in the future. But from a graphic design perspective, not photography.
Yeah.
Then,
Go ahead.
I just picked it up and I just started kind of working towards that. What I learned quickly after is that I didn't want to create work that looks like Jim Chuchu's anymore. But it gave me a guideline to understand what it is that I wanted to make. So I started making and shooting things that are totally different. But I always credit him because he got that fire inside me to just
he's
pick
got
up a
amazing
camera.
work. Yeah. So Kenyans, myself as well, were amazed by your photos of the city. And just Kenya in itself. You know what I mean? So to an extent, it almost changes how our narrative, our perceptions of the city, but based on what we see, the visuals.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So did you foresee a situation where you would help Kenyans change the narrative that they have about their city?
I want to say that was my goal from the beginning. For me, I've always seen from a long time, from around 2010, picked up a camera, went to KICC. When I saw that, for me, it's always like my origin story, which is what made me start shooting Nairobi, because I was on KICC, the rooftop, which almost everyone who lives in Nairobi must just go and see the city from up there. The sunset and the beauty that was there was not what I'd used to experiencing on the ground, because on the ground is just dust, matatu, hizo vitu zote.
Correct.
So a change in perspective enabled me to see the city in a whole different way. And when I saw that, I was like, I need to photograph this and show this, just for people to change perspective of the way they see the city. And that has been the goal of my work since then. It's always trying to shift people's way of looking at things. So you really think photography can actually change the way we perceive our country to be? Absolutely.
Because some people have a negative perception about Kenya and Nairobi in itself. Oh, it's dirty, nini. It's like Trump said, it's an ish hole. Nini, right? Even guys in the media. How they portray it.
I know.
So do you think just like music and literature, photography can actually play the same role in reframing our identity? Because
photography, just like any other art, helps you. The thing is, artists, generally, I think artists have a peculiar way of seeing the world. And many times, when you're not even when you're an artist and you see an artist's work, and you start looking at it and being like, I wonder what he was thinking when they made this thing. And that gets you thinking. If you're not an artist, you'll likely be like, wow, I never thought to look at it this way. You listen to a rap verse and you're like, wow, I never thought of that.
Correct.
And so photography is the same way. I can create something or photograph somewhere and you're like, I never thought Namibia looked like that. I never thought Nairobi looked like that. And so I think a lot of our job is to just share. If you're curious about something, your responsibility is to shed as much light on that little curiosity and share that curiosity, because you'll be surprised at how many people become curious with you, that I'll be like, wow, I never thought of that. I never thought to look at things that way. I never thought of that perspective of things. And that just sparks something small. Because for me, it's always when I just thought when people see Nairobi, because you don't see the beauty, you appreciate it less. But because when you look at pictures of wherever, whether it's Dubai or New York or wherever, you're like, oh, that place must be such an amazing place to move and to go live in, because look at all these pictures.
Look, it's true.
But you never see pictures of the streets of New York.
Exactly.
To see how dirty they are.
Yeah.
You never smell the pee of the streets of Paris.
Yeah.
Until you go there.
How it
it's
smells.
only because of the pictures.
Yeah, it's true.
It's only because of the pictures. So I'm like, if you start seeing your own city and accepting it, both the good and the bad, so much change can come out of that. I believe that even for the future, you take care of something because you regard it more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of picture, so what really makes a powerful picture or an image? Is it the beauty in itself? Say, for example, this studio, I'm some lady over there. Is it the story behind the picture, or is it the what? What can I say? Is it the what else? What can I add to it?
I feel like first it's many things.
Yeah.
It's for me, I think.
Or the emotion, for example.
Yeah. It's when you see, it's either could be the emotion that comes through, especially with human interest photography, whether it's something really sad or the capturing of human emotion in a very strong way, whether it's intense joy or surprise or something like that. But at the same time, I think it's seeing something unexpected. So when you see beauty where you didn't expect beauty, that can be very captivating. Or when you see the opposite, when you see trashiness and where you didn't expect it, that can be interesting. Or when you see things, basically anytime your brain sees something it didn't expect, I think that sticks with you. It makes it powerful. Sometimes it might be the way the picture is composed.
Right.
It might be that something you only see colored, now you see in black and white. Or someone takes a picture and you see colors that you never saw. It could be a sunset that you've never seen a sunset looking like that. So all of these things make a picture compelling. But I believe that when people are used to just stopping and taking in something, if you see a picture, and that's for me the problem of social media is that it has made these things so easily available, and that we scroll through them too quickly, that we don't take that one extra minute to really think about the thing. Sometimes it's the story. Sometimes the picture is just very plain until you hear the story about it. And that story might be in the caption or someone talking about it saying, when I took this picture, this is actually this. You think you might be looking at this, but it's actually this other thing. And then you read the caption and you realize, wow, that thing that I thought was so simple is such a big deal that I need to pay more attention to.
And bouncing off that, talk about some work that you've done that created so much emotion out of yourself, or probably even somebody that was consuming your art. Yeah. Talk about that piece of work.
I think one picture specifically is what comes to mind. A day, I think in 2014 or 15. Gikomba was on fire. And for me, it was just a normal day. I was heading to very early meetings, like an 8 p.m. 8 o'clock in the morning meeting. And so because of traffic and all that, usually it was like when I have an 8 a.m. meeting, I will get up before the sunrise. I leave my house at 5:30. I drive to the viewpoint just outside Waterhouse, where the promulgation flag is. What is that place called? Uhuru Park. Before it was sealed off. I used to go there and just watch the sunrise from there, because the sunrise rises behind the buildings or the skyline of Nairobi. So I'd made it a habit. Those days I used to go at least twice a month. And this day, I drive, I stop there. It was looking like it was going to be a beautiful sunrise. And I park my car, I get out, I see this huge black cloud. And I'm like, what is happening right now? I set up my tripod and I quickly go, because now I'm waiting for the sunrise. I go on Twitter to see what's happening. I find people talking about Gikomba on fire. And I was the only one there. And for me, the shock, of course, most news reporters were at the scene of the fire at Gikomba, shooting the actual story and whatever was happening. And so I stayed there and I just continued taking pictures of the skyline as it kept changing. And it was one of the most beautiful sunrises I've shot of Nairobi. But on the morning of such a tragic event in Gikomba, so much property destroyed and stuff like that. And I remember I showed this picture later that day or later that week to Blinky, who's a friend of mine and a musician that
Blinky
many
Bill?
people know.
Okay.
And when I showed him, he said something that was profound to me, because he said, that's so dope, and isn't that just the story of Africa? Beauty and tragedy coexist always in the same. And I kept thinking that's so true and so amazing that many times, even in the most tragic situations, there's always some sort of beauty.
Right.
If you look at it. And even in the most beautiful of situations, there's always tragedy, and one doesn't take from the other.
It's true.
And so for me, that contrast, that tension, I find is one of the things that makes photography so interesting and so captivating. Once you are able to catch that tension happening, it's not always obvious. But once in a while, it comes through. But you see a story like that, you might not see it in the picture as it is without this story.
I want to add to that story that you just gave. I remember even there's a time my uncle took me to KICC. So there was I think it was Boniface Mwangi's work. They were showcasing the post-election violence pictures.
Yes.
It was so emotional, man. You know what I mean? And it gets to show you the power of pictures, you know. It triggers these emotions that you probably thought you never had. Right. So I want us to come back and continue with this conversation. Guys, Mutua Matheka, his handle is @truthslinger. So I'm encouraging you to go just check his work. Impeccable. This guy is like a genius with his work. So we'll come back and continue with this one. Remember, you can call in 0719-012-600. The hashtag is After Hours on. But Kenya is full of creatives. Dope guys, man. Like,
absolutely.
I can just imagine when they see your work, they get so inspired. I'm sure the young guys were like, I want to be like Mutua one day. You know what I mean? In fact, what would you tell younger folks who are listening to you right now and they're thinking, oh man, my work will probably not pay. I should probably just get a day job. What would you tell these guys, man?
No, I truly get that, because even for me, I think the transition was, I can't say was easy, but it was worth it. Because now I've been just focusing on being a creative entrepreneur for maybe 13 years now.
Impressive.
And it has not always been good, but I don't think I would trade it for anything in the world. So anyone who's kind of starting now, I would say, first, understand it's going to be a long journey. So depending on how, you just have to, just like what I said earlier, you have to love the process. First, you have to love the process of what you do. Because whether it makes money or not, you have to love the process of what you do. The money you can always make from something else. Like if you're an artist at core, sometimes it might even be better truly to be employed, make your money from somewhere else, so that you protect your art.
Live with dignity, man. Get your money.
Because the art can also be frustrating, that you love it so much, but it gives you nothing. And I've been through that also. Where you're like, is this worth it?
Let me ask you something. Because I read a book by, I can't remember her name, Elizabeth Gilbert. Amazing. The creative, was it the Big Magic?
Big Magic. Big Magic, yes.
She was like, it almost feels like you're bullying your art when you constantly expect it to pay you. Does that make sense?
Man, I know exactly what you mean. It can be very frustrating. Because the art also doesn't have any obligations. The art doesn't owe you anything.
You know what I mean, bro.
And it's a very hard truth to hear, that your art that you put so much into does not owe you anything. And that's just life. Sometimes. And so I know, and many times, also I think we need to make examples. We need to, sometimes even us as the artists who are visibly seen, just paint true observations on this world. Because a lot of the, and I might butcher the examples, because even a lot of the artists that we know in the past, great artists like Picasso level, were not always were not all full-time artists. A lot of them had jobs and were amazing artists who history remembers. But we just never talk about the fact that they had jobs and did their art on the side. The art was still valid and the art was still powerful over time. So art doesn't become powerful just because you are doing it full time or just because you're suffering for it. That's what I believe.
We'll talk about that suffering part, Kwanzaa.
Yeah.
Because I know most artists and creatives have a weird relationship with this suffering thing.
I know.
So you mentioned historically.
I get it.
I want to bring it back to Africa.
Yeah.
So historically, outsiders, quote unquote, have been taking photographs of our stories. They create all these visuals through their own lens. What changes? And we know how they perceive us. What changes though when our own people, folks like you, document our stories through the lens? What's the difference really between those guys and us guys?
Let me tell you, there's a huge difference. And the difference is, there's a few differences. The ones that stand out to me the most, one, dignity. There's one thing about, and this is not just a thing that will be inherently true just because you're photographing your community. You can still be, what's the word when you're taking advantage of people? You can still exploit your own community.
Good word.
That is also possible.
Yeah.
But when you're connected to the work that you're creating or to the people whom you're highlighting, there's something in there that becomes, there's something that is dignified about it.
Right.
That you see those people as people and not just the people who will make you rich or not just characters of a book.
Yeah.
And that's a huge difference, number one. Another difference is that when you know that you can go back to those communities over and over, then there's a better connection. Because sometimes it doesn't take just the first time that you go to get the full story.
Right.
And to get, so that connection sometimes takes time.
Yeah, oh my God,
there. And the more you see people as people, and the more you're willing to see them often, over and over, I think that makes such a huge difference from when you're coming. And you just finish, collect what you,
and then you leave,
need and go. And to be fair, at the risk of, being seen as too like an activist, that all of this is down to the idea of colonization.
Right.
Because a lot of white people, Europe and Americas and whatever, but especially Europe, are used to coming to Africa or to lesser places that they consider lesser and taking, because that's the idea of colonization. That's one of the things why a lot of us here in Africa didn't colonize. We're not necessarily always used to the idea of just going somewhere, taking everything and then just going. So for us, there's a lot more connection to the things that we do, and that doesn't make us necessarily better. Just as I said, it's still possible to exploit your own community for your own benefit. But I think when people tell stories of their own communities, the stories are a lot richer.
Speaking of rich stories, so let me just be straight up. So rich stories, I guess, especially when you're speaking from an African perspective, being authentic, maybe some people would imagine means you showcase struggle, suffering, nini. So how do you create a balance between the beauty of Africa? Because it's a beautiful space.
It's diverse.
It's diverse. And of course the reality on the ground. I've seen some of your work in Kibera. Amazing, bro. So how do you create that balance?
I think we just have to, as an artist, and I'm not even saying this is easy, but as an artist, I think you have to not shy away from the tough things or be in a rush, because sometimes the tougher stories need more time and they need a lot more connection from you. And sometimes I get it, because honestly, a lot of artists are very emotional. We feel deeply about the things that we feel deeply about. Meaning we connect a lot with the work that we do and the subjects we deal with, which is what could make artists have a harder time with certain topics. And someone has to know what their limits are. Like with this subject, I can deal with it. With this other subject, is a bit too much for me. For me, the path that I've chosen is of cities mostly. And when I travel to cities, I don't shy away from the underbelly to some extent, to a place where I still feel safe. And I still want to walk around with people from that city to show me the reality of their city, to show me the things that you like, show me the things that you hate. That way I have a balanced enough idea of this city. And with Nairobi, it's the same thing. Like for me, as much as a lot of my photography might not be of downtown and of Grogan. I've also photographed in those areas.
Exactly.
I've walked down Grogan and photographed. It was a little scary, but sometimes you do it the first time and you realize, okay, it's not that bad.
That's why I was amazed by that.
Yeah.
That's the few pictures that you've taken in Kibera.
Yeah. People. I find that people resonate, and most people are happy. To have people curious about them and talk to them. Of course, there will be arrogant people who are like, don't whatever me, and that's fair. It's everywhere. But I think most people are interested that you're curious about them. Most people will stop you to even say, "Hi, hata nipige mimi picha," or something like that. They don't know that they're going to get a picture, but I find that so cool.
So you've done work that deals with the environment, of course, urbanization, you said, you've traveled around a lot. So do you feel like it's your responsibility as well to highlight, or should I say document, issues to do with society? For example, maandamano, Kenya right now we're in a revolutionary state mentally. Right? So do you feel like you're almost like an activist through your work?
I'd say yes and no, but the reason I'm going to say yes is I do believe, not just as an artist, as a Kenyan, I have a responsibility to care for the country, to be curious about the things that ail the country. If I turn a blind eye to the plight that affects not just me but other people just because it doesn't affect me, then I think that's very hypocritical. And at the same time, the way that manifests might not look the same. For me, I tried, like last year, I did try. There's one day that I went with my camera to the streets. I was like, okay, I'm going to try capture this today. It was impossible for me. I realized no wonder there are sports photographers, there are documentary photographers.
Why was it impossible?
It was like I could not do the run and gun of shooting and still be aware of my surrounding and still all of that stuff. And that's why I realized the people who are war photographers, they have something that makes them very capable of being war photographers. The people that are documentary photographers, they know how to connect with those stories. The people that, like me, photograph architecture, other people might find our work very boring because they're like, how do you just sit there and wait for the light? Because our work might be just sitting around for 3 hours to capture 3 pictures just to get the thing right. So in that way, I'd say I might not, I'm easy on myself and understanding that just because I'm a photographer, I don't necessarily have the responsibility of capturing the revolution, but I do have a responsibility of being aware of the revolution and bringing attention to the revolution. There is that, I don't know whether it was Toni Morris, the writer, who said, it might not be Toni Morris, it might be someone else, who said one duty of the artist in revolutions is to make the revolution fun, because the revolution it's a tough thing.
That's interesting.
It's a tough thing. And I think a lot of the times that we saw the photographers who captured things, we were so captivated by the pictures because they captured the fun, they captured the brutality, they captured a whole wide range of emotions that painted a full picture of how it was to be on the ground, because it wasn't just agony. There was some fun times, but it wasn't just fun. There was some really tough times. There was the aftermath was horrible. So I don't know. I find it's hard being someone who documents these things, because there's such a wide range of emotion to go through, and so many times you feel like I don't think I've captured what I wanted enough, or something like that. But
so I'm curious. What's the one thing that being a creative, art, photography, has taught you about yourself, especially now with the fame and the money?
Let me tell you the main thing that I say all the time. I wish my work was a lot more famous and me not as much.
That's interesting. The art versus the artist. So you want your art to be more out there as opposed to the individual.
I wish more people knew
Why
about
would
the
you
work
say that?
than they knew about me.
Why?
Just because it's the work that for me is important for people to know.
So you feel like your personality is more out there as well? Like you, the person.
And I also feel like there's a requirement now.
And
not just with me, I feel like even with musicians, like so many people now have to be personalities on top of being a musician, on top of being an artist.
Especially in this day and age of social media.
Like, people are drawn to personality. And sometimes that sucks, because sometimes you just want to be a potato with no personality.
I like that, man.
You just put all the personality in the work.
It's true, man.
But you just want to be a bum.
Yeah, that's typical millennial thinking. Yeah, because we grew up pre-internet.
There.
Yeah.
Because us guys, we grew up not knowing anything about our artists.
Exactly.
In fact, Michael Jackson was probably the guy that we knew too much about.
Right.
You're like, now you had to think of, I like your music, but I don't like you as a person. But now I'm like, I am happy. I miss the times when you just knew.
So now that they know you this much, do you feel like you have to play a role? Lama, you're like, okay, now I have to just
I do feel like sometimes I have to be a certain way. It's like I have to pima.
Yeah, it's true.
And also sometimes when someone comes and they already know me from the internet, it does feel like there's a bit of a disadvantage to me.
Yeah.
Because they seemingly know, in quotes, more about me than I know about them.
Dude, you have no idea. Like, even me, I'm so haunted by these cameras. I'm just, sometimes I'm like, not again. But I need the money. Anyway, so let me ask you something, by the way, because I want to go back to that thing for suffering and artists.
Yeah.
It's almost as if we romanticize suffering.
Yeah.
You know, for example, you hear stories of certain musicians, matter they have to do drugs.
Yeah.
So that they can produce good art. I don't know whether that's a fallacy or it's a fact. Like, some people actually, they create better art due to their pain, some of the trauma that they've gone through.
Yeah.
Is this a thing?
Honestly, I think there are some people who will swear by it being their truth. It's not the case for me. I found that there's for me, I don't think suffering has made me a better artist.
Like, you need liquor. So do you want?
No, suffering.
You need to cry.
The times that I've had hard times.
Yeah.
There are some hard periods that I've been through where I've been able to unlock something.
Unlock. That's the word.
Just to unlock something. But after that, but also, as a stimulus to unlocking that, I can see how that. But I don't think suffering is a sustainable source of inspiration. First of all,
it's
because
true.
if you're an artist and you want to work, you just need to keep working. And working under suffering is very self-destructive.
Correct.
Also, joy by itself is not sustainable enough as a source of inspiration. And so I think I've found that as an artist, for me specifically, I just have to, in fact, if anything, and it's going to be, I have to be my life has to be boring for me to be prolific.
Oh, that's interesting. I like that, though.
The growth of an artist is just exists in the boring.
Okay.
And nobody, and in fact, I might be so forward as to say sometimes maybe people chase the suffering because it brings a flavor of drama that they can, keep talking about. But I don't think, or the chaos, and for me, I don't think the chase of chaos or the chase of suffering is a sustainable enough
me too.
way to work. I think the boring place is where it's at. Enough excitement to give you a boost, but then enough boring to just sit and get work done.
I like that.
That part of sitting and getting work done is so boring, but it's so effective.
It really is.
Yeah.
And you, before we started the conversation, I heard you say you're a father.
Yeah.
You're a partner.
Yeah.
How has art, impacted your life as a family man?
It has given me balance. I think for me, my art has shown me how I have to balance. I can't just give myself into the art. As much as that could be a natural progression of things, I can't just say, I'm going to follow this rabbit hole and just like I used to before I was partnered up. I could just follow this rabbit hole and just keep going. No sleep, mpaka. I feel like I'm out on the other side. And now I have to be very balanced in my dealings. Like I have to give my art its time. And then funga ofisi. Go into being a father.
Correct.
Go into being a husband. Like I have to balance all of those responsibilities because all of them are requirements are things required of me. Just the same way the art requires something of me, my family also requires something of me. Not just that, I have friendships. And so the role of a human or the role of an artist is a lot more than just the art. And also it's seasonal, because there are some times when the art will require a lot more from you. And everybody has to be like, guys, we'll see you at the end of this thing.
It's true.
And so there are some times when for like a month or so I'm locked in, and everybody knows, the family knows, not that we're not going to see each other, but I'm more locked in than usual. And maybe it's a big deadline, maybe it's a thing, but I try to also make that not be the everyday situation. Not just the norm where this is now me 90% of the time. I would prefer for that to be less than a quarter of my general time, where there's a big project and I'm just like, guys, I'm going to be locked in. We'll still see each other, but I might not be very active in these other roles. And also that, you know, I'm grateful that I can even get the chance to do that, because of having a wonderful support system around me that enabled me to do that. Because sometimes that cannot be easy, you know, for a partner that you have. But there are times where my wife is like, okay, I get what is happening. And so she doesn't require too much from me. And so I try not to take advantage of that grace and just make that my reality. So that I try to keep it as a minimum. But there are some times where that happens. But just like I said before, I like to dwell in the boring part
it's true.
of creative practice.
Awesome. So as we wrap up, you've got an amazing event coming up. Talk about that, bro.
So I have a pop-up and brunch, because, you know, it's not good to have people shop on an empty stomach.
It's true.
And so this Saturday, I'm going to be selling my work at Ngara. Kali Works in Ngara. It's a beautiful space, fantastic food. We're going to have drinks, good music, food, and hopefully it's a sunny day, so we're just going to have a good time. I'm going to be dropping some new merch. In fact, there's some merch that I've just dropped today on my Instagram.
Good stuff.
So there's a lot of art that I'm going to just have on display. And usually, most of the time, this is a fantastic opportunity for people to come meet the artist, come hang out, like make it a part of your everyday life. Try on clothes, see art. And many times it's so much better when you touch the art, because, you know, sometimes when things are online, you don't know what it's going to translate to in real life. Sometimes online it looks like, okay, it might be nice, but not so nice. And then you come and you touch the thing, the frame, and you're like, oh my gosh. I just have to take this. Suddenly you can visualize it.
It's true.
Or you wear the piece of merch and you're like, oh, I thought this was just edited to look this nice, but it's actually even better on reality.
I like that.
So if you're there, it's free. So come through. It's going to be a good time.
We're definitely pulling up, bro.
Yes, please.
So, guys, that is Mutua Matheka. Yo, fam, I'll say it again. You've got a website, isn't it?
Yes, I do have a website. MutuaMatheka.com.
Awesome. Good stuff. His handle is at Sling. Say it again.
Truth Sling.
Truth Sling. I love it, man. So go check out his work. Of course, that is Mutua Matheka. Brilliant guy, man. Thank you so much for coming through, you guys.
Thanks for having me.